So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Sydney Colson, and she went on to Aaliyah Boston's podcast today and talked about the kind of negativity that she received from being a part of the Indiana Fever. And we all kind of know that that's something that
Sydney Colson just confirmed what many suspected about the Indiana Fever. During an appearance on Aaliyah Boston's podcast, she admitted that joining the Fever brought more hate than she's ever faced in her entire career. Fans and critics alike turned on her simply because she signed with Indiana. The backlash was so harsh that even a seasoned veteran like Colson, known for her humor and positive energy, was stunned by the negativity. It raises a serious question. Should WNBA players really be targeted with hate just for choosing to play for the Indiana Fever?
Like what we want them to look like. And I knew coming into this season, once people started talking, once I was here and experiencing it, like people had a lot to say. There was a lot of negative.
Sydney Colson's appearance on Aaliyah Boston's podcast dropped some truth bombs the WNBA probably didn't want out there. She spoke candidly about the wave of negativity she faced after joining the Indiana Fever, and she didn't hold back. For the first time in her career, Colson said people genuinely disliked her, and the only reason was that she became part of the Fever organization. Her revelation confirms what many suspected. Fever players have been dealing with an unusual amount of hate all season, even if most haven't said it publicly. Colson admitted she expected extra attention when she joined the team, but was completely unprepared for the hostility that followed. Known across the league for her humor and easygoing personality, Colson said she's always been well-liked, even when some didn't get her jokes. It was never personal. But the moment she signed with Indiana, everything changed. Suddenly, the same fans who once supported her turned cold, flooding her with negativity she'd never experienced before.
No, I'm not used to this. Typically, I'm the person that people are just like, oh, we love Sid, that's funny, blah blah blah. Some people be like, not funny, and I'm like, they don't have a sense of humor. But like, for the most part, for the most part, people have liked me and have admired me from the outside. But that's never made me do the things I do. Like, I do the things that I do because I enjoy my teammates, because I like comedy, because I like whatever I'm doing, not for other people's approval. So once I got here and was experiencing people's disapproval, it didn't really faze me because I still understood.
What makes Sydney Colson's comments so powerful is that she's not a rookie. She's a seasoned veteran who's played for multiple teams and seen every kind of locker room dynamic. She knows what normal looks like in the WNBA. So when she says the hate she faced after joining the Indiana Fever was unlike anything she's ever experienced, that statement carries real weight. Colson has the perspective to recognize when something is different, and this situation clearly stood out as unusually toxic. She emphasized that the negativity wasn't triggered by anything she did. People turned on her solely because she joined the Fever. She didn't change as a person, didn't lose her sense of humor, and didn't do anything controversial. Her only mistake was signing with Indiana, and that alone made her a target. That says a lot about how deep the animosity toward the Fever runs among certain groups of WNBA fans, and maybe even within parts of the league itself.
For no reason, I'm probably exactly where I need to be. So once the injury happened, I'm like, once again, this is something that I don't fully get, but this must be where I need to be, sidelined. And it made me an even more vocal leader. It made me pay attention to things maybe that I wasn't paying attention to that other people had going on, so I could be more tapped into if they're having a hard time and I need to come over here and help them out, whether it's mental, physical, whatever. I had to get outside of me. And that was the lesson that I learned in this. I hope it's the one that God wanted me to learn, but yeah, it was just one of those things that nobody wants that to happen, but you still have to move forward and figure out a way to still be, of service to.
What's most interesting is how Colson chose to handle the hate. Instead of letting it break her, She used it as confirmation that she was exactly where she needed to be. She realized that when people dislike you for no real reason, when the criticism is irrational and unjustified, it usually means you're doing something right or challenging a system that makes others uncomfortable. Colson understood that the hate wasn't truly about her. It was about what the Indiana Fever represent. Their rise and growing influence threaten the old order that some people are desperate to protect. And her joining the team only amplified that tension.
With all these players, is like they're just not in any way happy as long as they have to publicly hate the Fever. And the only way you can get back into these people's good graces is by pulling a Dwana Bonner. By just not playing for the Fever anymore, it doesn't matter.
Colson revealed that she genuinely wanted to play for the Fever. It wasn't a reluctant signing or a backup plan. She specifically chose Indiana because she liked Kelsey Mitchell, likely connected with her about the team's culture, and felt that she and Caitlin Clark shared similar personalities and would get along well. She saw the Fever as the right fit for her both personally and professionally, which makes the backlash she received even more unreasonable. After joining the team, Colson suffered a torn meniscus that forced her to sit out for a significant part of the season. Being sidelined while trying to establish herself was already tough, but doing so amid constant hate from fans and tension from other players made it far worse. During recovery, she became a more vocal leader, focusing on supporting her teammates emotionally and mentally, a role that revealed how the negativity surrounding the Fever was affecting everyone on the roster. Her honesty about being hated for simply joining the Fever is rare and refreshing, confirming what many fans have felt all season. The hostility toward Fever players goes beyond normal rivalry. The comparison to Dana Bonner, who stopped receiving hate after leaving the Fever, shows that the animosity isn't about individual players, but about the team's connection to Caitlin Clark. Anyone associated with the Fever becomes a target, regardless of their actions or performance. This puts players in a no-win situation. If they succeed, they're accused of riding Clark's fame. If they struggle, they're mocked. If they defend Clark, they're called fake. And if they stay quiet, they're labeled jealous. There's no winning because the hate itself isn't rational. Colson's remarks underscore how the Fever have become the most polarizing team in WNBA history, simultaneously the most loved and the most hated. That dynamic mirrors what happens with major market teams in other sports. Playing for the Lakers, Yankees, or Cowboys means being adored by your fans and despised by nearly everyone else. Every move is magnified, every mistake exaggerated, and every success dismissed as luck or privilege. That comes with the territory when you're part of a team that draws outsized attention. But in the WNBA, the Fever's players didn't fully grasp what they were stepping into. The level of attention and hostility that came with Caitlin Clark's arrival was unlike anything the league had ever seen. Colson's comments expose a toxic side of WNBA fan culture that hurts the league's growth. When players face harassment simply for joining a certain team, that's not passion. It's a problem leadership needs to confront. The Fever's popularity should be a sign of progress, proof that the WNBA is reaching a broader audience. Instead, some fans treat it like a threat, resenting the team's mainstream success and the spotlight Clark brings. The personal slurs and vile insults Colson received for joining Indiana show how far beyond normal criticism this has gone. It's hateful, not competitive, and it makes the league look small and unwelcoming rather than dynamic and inclusive. The fact that even role players like Lexi Hall, someone who works hard, avoids drama, and simply does her job, get attacked just for being Clark's teammate shows how irrational the hate has become. Colson's perspective that she plays for the love of her teammates, not for public approval, is exactly the right mindset. You can't let people who hate without reason dictate your happiness. She understands that the negativity directed at her and her team says far more about the haters than it ever could about the Fever. Colson is confident enough in herself to stay grounded and not let outside negativity affect her approach or commitment to the team, a level of emotional maturity that many younger players might struggle to maintain. Her observation that teams didn't respect the Fever and paid for it proved true throughout the season. Several opponents underestimated Indiana, assuming easy wins because of the narrative that the team was just Caitlin Clark surrounded by average players. Those teams were stunned when the Fever played with intensity, executed their game plan, and pulled off unexpected victories. When Clark was sidelined, the pattern became even more telling. Teams that prepared seriously won, while those that dismissed Indiana often lost, proving the Fever were far more than a one-player team. Still, many fans and media refused to update their perception despite clear evidence. Colson's point about social media is also insightful. Athletes should stick to the following tab rather than the For You page, since algorithms amplify negativity and controversy to boost engagement. That simple shift helps filter out toxic commentary. However, completely disconnecting from social media isn't realistic in today's sports world, where athletes build their brands, maintain fan connections, and fulfill sponsorship obligations online. The key is balance, staying visible without letting the noise distort your focus. Drop a like and subscribe for more reality checks on the WNBA's business and culture.